Partout.
Good morning to you. I'm Renee Allen. We thank you for joining us. Questions remain this morning regarding the power and authority of the Youngsville mayor and city council. While the council voted to investigate the police chief, a city law prevents the council from firing him. So what happens when the results of that investigation come in? We bring you a deeper look.
I've been asked by this council to take a voluntary leave of absence. My answer to that is I respectfully deny that request, as I am duly elected chief by the citizens of this city, not to you, the council.
Police Chief Ricky Boudreaux taking a strong stand Thursday night, telling the council good luck removing him. Only the residents of Youngsville can do that.
The only decision-making power you, the council, have is on the budget of this department and my salary.
The power of the city council comes down to the Lawson Act, which allows for two forms of police chiefs, elected and appointed. Youngsville, which follows the Lawson Act, has an elected chief. Youngsville City Attorney Wade Trahan says this means
the council and the mayor cannot exercise any supervisory authority over the operations of the police. That's clear in the Lawson Act.
Since the mayor or city council do not have the power to fire the police chief or interfere with the operations of the police department, the question becomes, do they have the power to even begin this investigation? The city attorney says yes.
This is not in any way an action on the part of this council, in my opinion, that impedes, interferes, or inhibits or directs the mayor in how to run or operate that police department.
A former Youngsville city attorney, however, disagrees.
Let's assume for the sake of argument, the investigation comes back and says, we notice these procedures, these policies, they need to be changed in the Youngsville Police Department. Well, the fact remains, if you go to the Lawson Act, you as a council have no authority to change any of the rules, policies, and procedures in an elected chief of police department. My concern is we're expending public funds for an investigation, and the council is directing the mayor to take action that he's not authorized to do under the Lawson Act.
Ultimately, the city council did vote to begin the investigation at a special meeting Thursday. The mayor says a law firm outside of Acadiana will be chosen to keep the investigation fair and impartial. Meanwhile, Police Chief Ricky Boudreaux is sticking to his guns.
And I am staying in office. They do not have the authority. Only a recall or when the time comes for a re-election.
So here's an update to the story News 10 has been following for this week. We asked the mayor of Youngsville what's the next step in the wake of the resignation of Councilwoman Kayla Rio. Mayor Ken Ritter says once the Secretary of State receives a notarized copy of the letter of resignation, the city will have 20 days to appoint an interim council member. This person will serve until the next available election. Back to Lafayette now we go, where Lafayette High School was under lockdown yesterday after police say there was a social media post about a shooting at the school. News 10's Rodrika Taylor finds out how law enforcement handled the school threat.
Earlier today, Lafayette High School was placed on lockdown due to a shooting school threat. It was with quick action from law enforcement. The school was given an all clear. Lafayette police say 2 students told the school administrators about the social media threat where someone said they would shoot the school. Therefore, lockdown measures were immediately put in place to ensure the safety of everyone. Lafayette Parish Sheriff's Office assisted. Lieutenant Jace Quibido with the Lafayette Police Department says they will treat every threat seriously, but warns it takes resources away from other needs throughout the city.
This is not a joke. This is something that potentially will follow you. People remember these things, and we just want to make sure that, you know, you're not going to gain anything by doing this. You don't get street cred or any of that other stuff. Just please understand that this is serious. You're taking up valuable resources that the citizens of Lafayette need.
Lafayette Police is investigating the school threat. More information will be released as it becomes available. In Lafayette, Rodrika Taylor, KALFY News 10.
Okay, Acadiana, News 10 has been tracking school threats across Acadiana this school year. Yesterday's threat at Lafayette High brings the Lafayette Parish count up to 21. St. Landry Parish has had 17 school threats. St. Mary Parish has seen 9. St. Martin Parish has had 8 threats. Evangeline and Iberia parishes have each had 5 school threats. Jeff Davis Parish has seen 4. Acadia Parish has had 2 school threats, and Vermilion Parish has had 1 threat at parish schools this academic year. Meanwhile, the wake of the shooting threats we've been seeing locally at area schools, people would like to know, how prepared are emergency responders? Acadian Ambulance speaks up. The upside is that they have the benefit of covering a large area. Therefore, when they get a call about suspected active shooter, they can pull staff from all across the state if need be. You guys do to prepare for when you hear the call, active shooter, whether it's a false alarm or not, what preparations, what goes into place with you guys?
Right. So, and that's become, seems like much more common lately, whether the real thing or the false alarm.
Aaron Webb, a physician assistant with Acadian Ambulance, explains that Acadian treats an emergency call is just that, an emergency.
Every call that's for an active shooter is considered real until proven otherwise.
Every employee who responds is preparing for a number and type of patients who will need care. Also, they have to consider what kind and how much of their resources will be needed.
And then always readjusting that as more information comes in, whether that's from the scene or from somebody that's calling in and giving more information.
Acadian Ambulance will stand by in what's called the cold zone. The cold zone is an area away from the scene that's considered safe with no direct threat.
The scene where there is an active shooter or a direct threat is considered the hot zone. And we do not go into that. That is for law enforcement to pull to pull patients from.
Another area to focus on is having enough people in place. Everyone's doing their job, just going about the normal day. And then all of a sudden, beep, 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 beep. Where do you put people on standby? Do you make calls or
have on standby as many assets as necessary? So whether that's 5 ambulances and 2 helicopters or 10, 20, it depends on what the situation calls for.
So in certain situations, Acadian Ambulance will team up with the law enforcement in what's called the warm zone. That's where it's safe enough to go closer in and stabilize a patient for transport. Now, St. Martin Parish schools are beginning to implement a new school bus ID program to keep track of students and buses. A program called Zonar was first purchased by St. Martin Parish during COVID to help keep track of students in the case of an outbreak. Students will be able to scan their personal cards, that is, when getting on and off the bus for the school to be aware of where someone is, right? So another benefit to Zonar is a GPS system in each bus to be able to locate where a bus is or where it has been. St. Martin Parish Superintendent Al Blanchard says Zonar is one of many safety projects the district is looking to implement.
Safety is, it's always the first thing you worry about, especially in this day and age. I mean, we have, a number of things we're doing to make sure to ensure safety at the schools.
Superintendent Blanchard is hoping everything will be up and running by the beginning of next school year. All right, Mayor President Josh Guillory appointed Lowell Duyon as LCG's interim chief financial officer. Duyon was a chief administrative officer in former Mayor President Joe Robideau's administration. Duyon was then appointed interim Lafayette Utility System Director. If you remember, the appointment comes after Lori Toots retired back in February. Many people attended Smile Community Action Agency's annual spring gala at the Cade Community Center. There, people enjoy some great food and music. Smile is the primary provider of social services in the area. The organization focuses on health, education, and economic stability, among other area. News 10's Dalford Jones served as last night's MC. There is damage throughout Arkansas as a series of tornadoes touched down Friday. This is drone footage of West Little Rock. This drone footage begins with damage at the Colony West Shopping Center at Rodney Parham and Interstate 430. Now, the damage was due to flying debris. Cars were also reportedly flipped over. You can also see the damage at a nearby residential area. Then President Biden toured tornado devastation in Mississippi and was awed by the widespread damage there. Of course, the president's visit to Mississippi to announce the government will pay 100% of the recovery, shelter costs, and cleanup costs for at least 30 days. Officials briefed the president on steps they're taking to recover from the twister that destroyed roughly 300 homes and businesses and killed at least 21 people. If you would like to help the tornado survivors, Catholic Charities of Acadiana will be hosting a relief drive next week. Supplies requested include diapers, non-perishable food items, paper towels, toilet paper, personal hygiene items, tarps, and flashlights. The relief drive is happening on Wednesday, April 5th from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the Catholic Charities of Acadiana Regional Disaster Warehouse. Trevor Sonier over in the Weather Center, and just, heartbroken about all that's going on over there in Mississippi. But we're having some nice weather. And we're quite grateful for it.
Yeah, we've definitely had an active tornado season so far. We had another round of tornadoes across the country last night and this morning. Luckily, it's been all to our north, but severe weather season is still going through April, so we'll be watching closely through the next month or so. Let's take a look at temperatures across the area. 75 in Lafayette, 74 in New Iberia, 72 in Lake Charles. Live Doppler 10 does show a few showers across the area this morning, so we may see a few showers this morning, and then we have a front that will be coming in later on today. Drier air will be coming in from the north, and clouds may try to clear out. So we may actually finish the afternoon with mostly sunny skies, but it will be very warm out there. Satellite radar shows the storms off to our north, and we saw tornadoes across Arkansas and all the way into Illinois and the Midwest last night. Definitely an active weather pattern. We had that very large, moderate risk. We even had some high risks out there yesterday afternoon from the Storm Prediction Center. So very active weather, and it's still ongoing across Mississippi and Alabama this morning, but it's heading east of us, and we're going to clear out at least temporarily for today, for tomorrow, maybe a few more isolated storms. So temperatures rising through the 70s, and we climb into the mid-80s this afternoon. Future track shows the clouds trying to clear out later on today. I'll keep isolated rain chances in the forecast. Warm temperatures, more clouds for tomorrow. I have another rain chance in the forecast tomorrow, but I think most of that will remain across the Arklatex, meaning across northeastern Texas and into the northern portions of the state. So it may miss us for tomorrow, but I definitely think we get it later on next week, starting Wednesday and continuing through possibly next weekend. So 70s for now. We rise into the mid to upper 80s for this afternoon. In the lower 60s for tonight with that frontal passage, and then we get into the lower 80s again for tomorrow. So maybe a little cooler for tonight, but then for tomorrow, warm temperatures yet again. Notice the northwesterly winds coming in behind the front today, but it's short-lived because we have south winds coming back in for tomorrow at about 8 to 16 miles per hour. Here's the upper level situation. This trough is moving out. Later on in the week, it looks like by Wednesday, this trough begins to dig down. It deposits a front right across the area, but then we just have this southwesterly flow, so this front just stalls right overhead. Moisture coming all the way from the eastern Pacific right into the area, so this will fuel some pretty healthy rain chances here through Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Firstly, here's Sunday. Notice most of the rain misses us to the north. Monday and Tuesday, maybe a slight chance for a shower both days, but I think we stay mostly dry. Here's Wednesday. Front moves in, and it just stalls through Thursday and even through Friday. Models have this continuing through Saturday as well, so maybe a 3 to 4 day period of some higher rainfall totals and some higher rainfall coverages across the area. So we'll be watching for possibility later on next week. So 86 your high today, morning showers, but then sunny late with warm temperatures. 7-day forecast shows isolated rain chances again tomorrow, 20%, 81 Monday, 85 Tuesday, and then we have the rain chances coming in Wednesday about 40-50%, and I'll keep rain chances at about 50% through Thursday and Friday. And those rain chances may actually have to increase a little later on in the week as we get closer to that event. Maybe a couple of inches of rainfall. It's been dry. We can use some of that rain, just not too much at one time.
That's true. Very true. We thank you for that, Trevor. And for more information on the stories you see this morning, remember, you can always log on to our website at klfy.com. Also there, you'll be able to find Trevor's weather forecast. All right, coming up here on Passe Partout on this Saturday morning in Opelousas, another week filled with gun violence has many wondering what can be done to bring peace to the city.
And more details on that 7-day forecast after the break.
Watch your local news wherever you go.